Introduction. Acadia National Park has dark green mountains. When you look down from these mountains, you see the icy Atlantic Ocean. You see ocean waves crashing against rocky shores. These 48,000 acres, 194 square kilometers, of natural beauty have a long history. It is a history full of stories about people who love this land of mountain and sea. These people worked to make sure that everyone could enjoy it. Next to the picture on the bottom in blue, it reads, Native Americans once called Mount Desert Island Pemetic. This word meant the sloping land. Page 3. Acadia National Park is spread out over a group of islands off the coast of Maine. Most of the park is on Mount Desert Island. The park has beautiful freshwater lakes and ponds. There are trails for hiking in the mountains or walking by the shore. As you read, you will learn about the history of this park. You will find out how it came to be public land open to everyone. Next to the picture in blue, it reads, 3 million people visit Acadia National Park on Mount Desert Island each year. Chapter 1, Early Island Life. The history of Acadia begins with the Native Americans. Native Americans lived on Mount Desert Island 7,000 years ago. They painted their burial sites a deep red color. For this reason, they are known today as the Red Paint People. Not much else is known about them. Scientists think the Red Paint People died off about 4,000 years ago. Below, under the picture in blue, it reads, the red paint for the Native American burial sites was made by grinding a mineral called hematite into a powder. At the top of page 5, under the picture in blue, the Wabanaki lived in shelters like these. The Wabanaki people were Native Americans who lived on Mount Desert Island thousands of years after the Red Paint People vanished. The Wabanaki spent winters on the coast where it was warmer. In the summer, they lived inland. They hunted the wildlife that roamed the land. They fished and gathered plants. Chapter 2, Settling on Mount Desert. Mount Desert Island would not belong to the Native Americans forever. People from France and England wanted to settle there. Explorers from Europe began arriving in the 1600s. Samuel Champlain was one of the first explorers to breathe in the fresh Maine air. In 1604, he gave the island a name. He called it Isle des Monts Desert. The word Mont means mountains in French. The word desert means barren or like a desert. Down below, in blue above the picture, it reads, mountains like this one inspired Samuel Champlain's name for this place. At the top of page 7, who was Samuel Champlain? Samuel Champlain was an ambitious mapmaker who explored much of the North American continent. He founded the city of Quebec, now one of Canada's largest cities. Lake Champlain in northern New York State is named after him. Samuel Champlain liked Mount Desert Island, but he did not stay there. Life in Maine was hard. Champlain moved on after a brief time. Another French explorer almost settled there too. His name was Antoine Lomé, but Lomé too decided to leave the island. In 1613, a group of French people tried to settle on the island. This time, an English explorer named Samuel Argall took the French settlers hostage. After that, the island belonged to the British. Page 8, under the picture written in blue, it says, shipbuilders used wood from Mount Desert Island's massive oaks to make ships' outer frames. They used white pine for the masts. The English settlers slowly made Mount Desert Island their home. They put the land to use. Wood from the island's forests was used to make mighty ships. Carpenters also used the wood to make tools, beds, and chairs. Farmers grew potatoes, corn, and other crops. Towns grew as Mount Desert Island became more livable. Sumsville was the first town to be built in 1761. Bar Harbor was established in 1796. The top of page 9. Many of the island's residents made their living by fishing. They caught lobsters in square traps. The lobsters were canned in factories. Today, many residents still make their living by fishing for lobsters. A lobster even appeared on the state license plate for years. Down below, above the picture in blue, it reads, "Since the early 1600s, lobster fishing has been an important part of Maine life." Chapter 3, The Summer People. Starting in the middle 1800s, many wealthy people visited Mount Desert Island during the summer. They wanted to take vacations in the rustic countryside. Huge homes were built in Bar Harbor and other towns. Among the summer people were President Theodore Roosevelt, Railroad King Cornelius Vanderbilt, and businessman John D. Rockefeller Jr. Down below, next to the picture in blue, it reads, "In the late 1800s, large summer homes were built on Mount Desert Island. Many, like this one in Southwest Harbor, are still standing today." Page 11 at the top, under the picture in blue, it reads, "Frederick Edwin Church's Coast Scene, Mount Desert." Along with these visitors came artists. The painter Frederick Edwin Church first visited the island in 1850. Church made sketches of the landscapes in his notebook. Then he based his paintings on these sketches. In many of his paintings, you can almost feel the ocean spray on your face. In the box, it reads, "The Fire of 1947. In 1947, a terrible fire on the island burned down many of the fine houses. Mount Desert Island's people and landscape took a long time to recover." Chapter 4, George Dorr's Dream. By the 1880s, Mount Desert Island had become even more popular with wealthy visitors and artists. This was great for business, but George Bucknam Dorr didn't think this was good for the land. Dorr was one of the island's summer people. He thought that the island's wildlife and natural beauty should be protected. Dorr thought that there should be some land where building was not permitted. In 1901, Dorr formed a corporation with other rich friends. Their mission was to create a national park, but they had a very rough journey ahead. Many people who owned homes on the island did not support Dorr's plan. Developers did not want to lose the chance to build there. Dorr worked for 15 years to achieve his goal. Over time, people sold or donated large amounts of land to Dorr's corporation. In 1916, President Woodrow Wilson declared the land a national monument. Then, in 1919, Dorr completed his project. The national monument became Lafayette National Park. Lafayette was the first national park east of the Mississippi River. The park was renamed Acadia in 1929. Dorr was the park superintendent until his death in 1944. Carriage roads. Over time, the park has changed. In 1913, John D. Rockefeller Jr. had the first carriage road built through the wild mountains at the island's heart. Cars have never been allowed on these roads. They remain beautiful places to walk and think. Visitors can ride in a horse-drawn carriage. Conclusion. Acadia National Park is a place of inspiring scenery and great natural beauty. The people who created it loved it, and they also knew its value. If developers had built on Mount Desert Island, its unique landscape would have been destroyed. When visiting such a place, you can see what a treasure the park's creators have given to us all. Down below, Acadia timeline. 1604, Samuel Champlain names Mount Desert Island. 1761, settlers establish Sumsville. 1850, Frederick Edwin Church goes to Mount Desert Island. 1916, land owned by George Bucknam Dorr's Corporation is named a national monument. 1919, National Park Service establishes Lafayette National Park. 1929, Lafayette National Park is renamed Acadia National Park.